Good morning. Today on Business Success in Six with Stacie, I have Ryan Robb on the phone or on the line here with Care Patrol. Ryan, thanks for jumping on with me today.
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure. We're actually really interested in learning more about your business. I know aging people, it's just such a what did you call it before? A silver tsunami when we were
Yeah,
talking.
the silver tsunami.
So
The
you're really helping so many people. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to ask you 6 questions about Care Patrol. Can we get started?
yeah, sounds great.
Awesome. When people ask you what Care Patrol does, how do you describe your business?
I let them know that we're a free service, that we work with families to help them navigate that process of finding assisted living, memory care, in-home care, independent living. Uh, we work with the families all the way through the process. We're very hands-on. If you're looking for assisted living, we'll set up the tours for them. We tour with families. We have guides of questions that they should be thinking about when they're touring. We'll obviously ask those questions for them if they're not asking those questions, but the main goal for us is to make sure that a family finds the safest and most appropriate assisted living for their loved one. We also work with a lot of other people in the senior industry, like in-home care,
Mhm.
elder attorneys. We want to know as much as we can about the VA benefits that are available to seniors, because there are a lot of seniors that don't know that they have benefits coming that will actually help them pay for the assisted living or even in-home care.
Sure. Well, and I've got to imagine it's such an overwhelming process, whether you're dealing with people that are experiencing dementia or families that are already raising their own families and trying to take care of their parents at the same time. That's got to be a really, really challenging situation so that when you're able to help them and give them those resources without them having to do all the research, that's really, really valuable.
Yeah, and there's a lot to know for families, and they feel overwhelmed. A lot of times you'll have like a parent or a grandparent go into the hospital,
Mhm.
and they have their stay there, and all of a sudden they have like 2 or 3 days to find a community, and they don't know where to start. So that's where we can help them. And like I said, we're hands-on. We try to educate them through the process as we do it, why we're looking at certain places. It's obviously expensive to go into assisted living, so we kind of talk about costs, private pay, where I fund my own care, and rolling on to like Medicaid. So there's just a lot to know about that too. Families are, married couples. If someone goes into a community and one stays home, like
Mhm.
it gets very confusing for them. Like, are they going to lose everything? Are they going to lose their home, their car? And so we kind of walk them through the process and at least point them in the right direction of who they need to talk that information through. So
Sure, absolutely. So what were your plans when you started your business and how have they changed?
I started at the end of 2019. I was planning on growing it a lot more quickly than I did, obviously. So that first year was pretty slow. Care Patrol, it's a franchise, and they're really upfront about, that first year is more about getting trust and building your communities and getting a really good connection of knowing where to place people. So
Mhm.
I didn't have like a huge um, I, my goals of like revenue and that part of it wasn't large the first year, but just getting referral sources and marketing really slowed. It was very slow because we couldn't market anywhere because one of the main places we market are hospitals and skilled nursing facilities, and they were all locked up. So we really needed to pivot, like how we were going to market or at least stay in touch with those types of facilities.
Yeah, I can't even imagine like the chaos that was happening in the hospitals and nursing homes where people couldn't get in. So it must have been really challenging to create that know, like, and trust if you can't actually go in. So I'm actually going to skip ahead to the question, and then we'll go back to the third question. But what is one challenge that you have faced that other business owners could learn from? So that whole process right there in your first year.
Well, definitely that. So, how do I market now that I can't really go into these communities, and we really had to change. Like I felt like I had to change my direction of trying to market to them as opposed to trying to help them. So
Mhm.
I had some relationships already built, but we saw a need in the industry, which I was really surprised about. Like a lot of these places didn't have masks, they didn't have hand sanitizer. So we kind of pivoted and, we started to offer hand sanitizer through our through Care Patrol. We were able to get like gallon jugs of it, and so
Wow.
we any way we could help. That's how we reached out. I would send out emails to the social workers that I was working with and just say, hey, if there's anything else I can help with, because I wasn't extremely busy marketing. We donated a lot of masks, we donated a lot of hand sanitizer, um, gave them like little, anything to keep them positive, cards, different types of candy, anything to keep them positive because we knew they were going through a lot at that point. But the biggest challenge, at that point was like, when do I hire somebody? That for me, that's the biggest challenge. How quickly do I grow? I was hoping to hire someone that first year because my territory is very spread out,
Yeah.
and so I just had to hold off. So yeah, that ended up being my bigger challenge is like, when do I hire someone now? Like, when do I feel comfortable doing that?
Sure.
And it all comes down to knowing your numbers. How how are you going to pay for that person? What do you need that person to produce to hire them to maintain their salary?
You said a couple of really significant things, I think, as we talk about business challenges. One, when you can't get out there and market, helping people, that's just a huge way to build that know, like, and trust. And it's a different perspective that I really wanted to highlight, because I want business owners and business leaders to really know that helping people will lead to that. And the other thing that you said right at the end there is knowing your numbers. It's so important to do that. So thank you for both of those nuggets there. And
Yeah.
we already, so I skipped over that third question and went right to the fourth about the challenge. But the third question was, how do you impact the community? And you've already kind of covered that with that challenge, is donating, hand sanitizer and whatnot. So could you elaborate a little bit more about how you do impact the community in other ways?
So yeah, what we do is Care Patrol Wisconsin. We are a state sponsor of the Alzheimer's Association. So we set up at 10 of the walks throughout the state, and kind of give people more information about what we do and how we can assist. Personally, I'm on the Ozaukee County Alzheimer's Walk. I'm on the Sheboygan County Alzheimer's Walk Committee. I'm part of the Dementia Care Network in Sheboygan. I'm on the Ozaukee County Caregiver Connection Group, where they have coffees for people who are caregivers, and some of the places actually have where someone can bring the person they're caring for at some of these communities, where someone will care for that person as the caregiver gets to have coffee and talk with people that are having the same issues as they do. Like, it just to be able to talk to somebody about what they're going through, because you know and that's not something I have experience with. I know my dad has, but just caring for somebody and not having time for yourself. There's so many statistics about how the caregivers end up in worse health,
Mm.
have worse health issues down the road than the person they're caring for. It's just, so there's a lot of need out there just to have them be able to blow off steam, or talk with somebody else that's going through the same thing.
Wow, that's huge, absolutely huge. We all need that person to be able to connect with, and somebody else that is going through the same thing is going to be able to help them best. Very interesting statistics too. What does the future look like for you, and do you have an exit plan?
Yeah, and I know, like, your first day of the business, you should already have your exit plan in place. So, I mean, my goal at this point is to continue to grow my franchise. I'm surrounded by four other Care Patrol franchises in the state. One thing I was gonna, you were talking about challenges earlier on, or and what I do for them. One thing I learned was ask questions. Like it's amazing how open people are when you ask them questions about the business. So I ask a lot of questions about, the future and how to grow my business. My goal is to hire additional people and help them grow with the business. It would be great, maybe the 5 to 10 year goal is to have the business be able to run itself, where I'm mentoring people and hiring the right people where they can actually run the business, where I can go on vacation and not have to worry about anything. It's just that, to me, that's still like a concept that I'm going to have that someday. And
Absolutely.
eventually, I want people to grow with me that I'm working with. So I want them to feel comfortable that they're being paid correctly, that they're happy with what they're doing, and they're helping people. So, I think the perfect concept would be to have somebody that's working for me take over the business, sell it to, one or multiple employees. That way I know I'm giving it to someone that's going to, have the same value as we do. Like I said, we try to get involved with different areas like the Alzheimer's Association, Dementia Care Network, caregivers within the areas that support us and that we support. So I want to make sure that someone that takes it over continues that. Care Patrol has us go through quite a process to make sure that we're the right fit for their brand. So I want to make sure that anyone that purchases my Care Patrol continues that.
Absolutely. And especially when you have the first word care in there, obviously you do care and you care about those people that you're serving and the people that will take over. So that's all really great. The good concept of an exit plan and building towards that. All subjects open. What inspires you most?
One of the main goals I have for the future, and I still do it, but I just want to be able to travel. And like I said, I want to be able to travel without worrying about business. Even, my previous job, it was difficult to travel without having at least one or two conference calls during the week. Or, I had one week where I had a conference call every day at 6:30 a.m. And
On
it's just you.
vacation?
Yeah, and you could just never unplug. I had like one vacation, within the last, before I started this, when I was with my other company, that, I had one where I was in between projects. It was perfect. And I couldn't believe how great I felt and when coming back from it. And I'm like, this is what people talk about. Like, this is why people take vacations. So,
Totally.
I mean, travel is definitely something I want to do a lot more of. Staying healthy, exercising, and continued learning. That's just something I always want to do. Some of the areas I'm trying to get much better at right now is goal setting, meditation. That meditation is something I started last November. So I've been doing it just over a year. I try to do it every day. I do transcendental meditation, where you're supposed to do it like twice a day. So I fell off a little bit on the twice a day. But I could tell, like my anxiety was peaking a little bit. So it was interesting, because when you're doing it, like I couldn't feel like it was changing anything, but as soon as I wasn't doing it as strict as I should be, I could then feel it. So, and
That's
overall,
really
just becoming a well-rounded person, that, I don't want to be just all work and not doing other stuff. So yeah, I like to study, goal setting, meditation, productivity, and flow states. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Rian Doris or Stephen Kotler.
okay.
Um, they do a lot with like these flow states where you're a lot more productive and getting into those. I just took a course. It's called Zero to Dangerous, and it was very interesting. It talked about these flow states and how to get in them and stay in them, and also about like goal setting, but like way out, like, not these. They're not about attainable goals. They're about goals that you can't.
Okay, reach and get toward. Well, we all have to have big goals, right? Big dreams,
Yeah,
big goals. So very
but
cool.
it
Well,
was
I'll
interesting
definitely
how
look
they
that
broke
up.
them down. That's the part that was interesting. So,
Cool. We'll definitely look that up. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And if somebody wants to get in touch with you, your business, what would the best way for them to do that be?
Yeah, my website's sheboygan.carepatrol.com. A lot of times if you bring it up and you don't live in my territory, somebody else's picture will come up. So, just say change location and select Sheboygan, and then my picture will come up and my information. Otherwise, you can Google my business, sheboygan.carepatrol.com. I'm on Facebook under Care Patrol Sheboygan, and also my name, Ryan Robb, and also LinkedIn, Ryan Robb. So that, yeah, I'm more than happy to link up with like-minded individuals, or, anyone that just wants to connect.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your service work, for your business, and for your time today.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it.